Hello, hello. Today we're playing some Umineko Purgatory. It is a fan-made project by Umineko, and I usually have their thing on the screen, and today I do not. Where is it? Yeah, I promise I was prepared for today. So how's everyone doing today? Has everyone had a super fun day? I have been playing some Elder Scrolls Online. I decided to treat myself to the new DLC that recently came out, and so that was what I did. And Charlie, how you doing? Ja-ja. Ja-ja. We did it! There we go. Yeah, we can write things. Hee Right. Should we get into playing it? Should we get back in? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba. Load. I can't remember where we left ourselves. At this point, both Battler and Beto had either annoyed or troubled expressions on their faces. Oh yes, they were just about to do all of the detective work for the first Twilight. So yes, 6 people have died. 3 people died in 3 rooms, and then they went somewhere for some reason, and they came back, and there was 3 more dead bodies in the room, and we are told they were not hidden in the room, and they got there afterwards. So, I didn't even put a post on Twitter or anything. Oh my god. Where was today's preparation? This preparation just did not exist, I swear. I changed my stream names and everything, but I didn't actually change anything else. Oh my god. There we go. We can type. Should probably hashtag this because I always forget. And I end up with like 6 posts, none of which are complete. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Right. Both of them were emotional and easy to take off. It was almost fun, in its own twisted way. Or so we thought. Damn it to you, sooner or later I'll find your weakness and then it's over for you. How sad. I thought we were allies. You're the one to talk. Oh. Whack. Battler nudged him with his elbow, a little too strongly for the smaller man. It sounded like he full on threw him over against a wall or something. Who? It made Vigilius lose his balance, pouting at the loss of elegance. He then elbowed Battler back significantly more weakly. I'd take a pitiful elbow back. Weak. Shut up, I'll kick you where it hurts next. Oh, did I finally strike a nerve? Ow, 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 ow. Vigilius dug his heel into Battler's foot before smiling innocently at Beatrice. Are we continuing with the next round soon? Hello, Vector. I'm not gonna be able to hear this song or any Roller Coaster Tycoon rides the same way anymore now. How do you feel, Vector? You've ruined them. How are you doing today? I hope hope all your preparations are coming along for your re-debut. I'm very, very excited to see where Vector flies off into space next. Where was that the other day? I was somewhere. Like I was out and about, out in the world. And there was a poster on the wall and it said something station and I was like, oh my god, Harbour Station, what? And I was like, no wait. That didn't say Harbour Station. My mind went places. Yay! For hard work! I have done very little in the... Exactly, Harbour Station, what? In true English style. Yes, I've not done a great deal of anything productive today. I made some images, I played some games, paid my bills. Yeah. I didn't want to pay the bills. Yes, once you two stop acting like children in a kindergarten, that is. Mahoo. Huh? Says the one who kicked a chair because she was lonely. These characters are all like children. Says the one who keeps stepping on someone just because they're stronger than them. Please stop stepping on my leg. You're noisy, battler. Oh my gosh, where's that face? Where did that accent come from? Kansai dialect? Any problem with my accent? Say it to my face now. So this is why you speak so politely all the time. Are you keeping it a secret? Isn't it common for people who try to hide their accent to speak politely all the time? Yeah. Oh my god. Now I feel attacked. I hate my natural accent, so I hide it as much as possible. And now I just feel attacked. That's because you won't contain yourselves and keep up with your stupid reasoning. Is that what you want, huh? Is it? What the hell? You're a completely different person. Keep it going, yeah! Oh yeah, at least my laughter doesn't sound like a dying hyena. You're a dying hyena? That metaphor was kind of funny. Shut up, battler. The accusations kept going backwards and forwards in the room for a while, getting more and more childish as it more progressed. Battler was childish. Beatrice was childish. They dragged Vigilius down to their level. Get down here! And one with experience. Yes, they're good at bringing people down to that level, you see. The ambient sounds of rain and Rokanjima. Sigh. Vigilius exited the resting room. He had a worn-out expression and was lingering next to the door. As if experiencing a near-death moment after falling off the cruise hadn't been enough, now the place he ended up in was a crime scene with no less than 6 people who had been murdered. It was true that the general idea of an island with mysterious murders could sound thrilling, but experiencing it firsthand was completely different, especially as an outsider. The truth was, he just really didn't want to be there right now. Would anybody, especially when there's like a typhoon around the island and you're essentially locked on this island with said murderer? I wouldn't want to be there either. Just saying. Especially since there was 18 of them at the start of this chapter. I can at least tell you that 13 of them are going to die, if not 14. Just an FYI. I wouldn't want to be there either. My chances of survival? Very slim. Vigilius sighed again, turning to close the door behind him. As he turned back, he was greeted by Natsuhi, who stood in front of him in the corridor, clenching onto her gun with an unclear expression. Natsuhi had some unexplainable hostility towards him since he had arrived. The quiet glares during yesterday evening, or her defensive attitude every time he was around were hard to ignore, even when he tried to keep his polite attitude and play it cool as long as possible. Under normal circumstances, he would have just assumed he was a little antisocial, or very unhappy to have an unwanted guest during an important family event. He could understand it, even though the rest of the family had welcomed him in with open arms. It's only natural for people to have a hard time with strangers, especially when they crash into your house uninvited out of nowhere. Hooray. But now, with murders happening on the island, he couldn't help but feel the uneasiness. Natsuhi was acting as if she had secrets she was keeping. Wow, Natsuhi's secrets? No way. Almost that she didn't throw a baby off a cliff 19 years ago and they're implying it to you? Like, yeah, bye. And she was very afraid that oh my god, English. And was very afraid that he would expose her at any second. He wondered if his occupation as a law studies student worried her, but he was barely at the beginning of his studies at this point, so it wasn't like he could play the perfect detective and expose whatever she was trying to hide. He'd do a damn good job of it, though. Still, with a hostile expression and a gun in her hands, it definitely made him feel like running away. He finally wore a polite smile on his face again, looking at Natsuhi directly. Natsuhi-san, is something the matter? How long are you going to keep up with this act? Huh? Vigilius couldn't help but immediately make an irritated expression. Keep up with the act? What the hell was she talking about? Wasn't him... So if you weren't here last time we played, Natsuhi received a letter saying, I'm hiding on the island, mother. And basically she thinks it's him because he's an uninvited guest. Plot twist, we're being told it's not. Just straight up, we're being told it's not him. He forced a smile over his face again, trying to hide his irritation, crossing his arms. This is the way I talk when I'm not around close friends. I don't think that whether I speak with or without a dialect is any of your business. Go off with the nonsense. I know who you are. Yeah, bye. Huh? Natsuhi was yelling at him, tears in the corners of her eyes. He felt like she was ready to draw her gun and shoot him if she could, but suppressed the instinct to raise his own arms in the air, leaving them crossed. You already took everything from me. What else do you want? Since when were you planning this? Are you trying to frame me for the murders? Vigilius spoke in a low, annoyed tone, making Natsuhi shiver. I get that you're devastated and trying to find someone to blame, but making me your scapegoat won't take you anywhere. Trust me, I didn't want to come here either, and just because I'm a guest doesn't mean I'll play along with your blaming games. I know it's you. Stop it already. Natsuhi's voice cracked and her grip on her gun tightened even more. Stop pretending already. I can't take it anymore. I'm not pretending. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why would I be pretending? What would I be pretending? Does it mean you have any leads regarding who's the murderer and I fit some of their criteria? Why aren't you saying anything? Couldn't you kill me instead? Why? Why my husband and daughter? Why 4 other people along with them? I don't understand. I'm the one who doesn't understand. Quit the riddles already. Confess it already. The man from 19 years ago. I know you're the murderer. Have you lost your mind? Besides, aren't you the one holding a gun out with the 2 of us, acting like they're about to shoot the other? Stop it! Stop! You make me blush. Oh shit, too late. Is the murder about my age? How do you know? What are you hiding, Natsuhi-san? You're the one who's hiding things. No, you must have accomplices, right? Who are they? How did you get those letters to my room? You got letters? From the murderer? That's it. I've had enough. I'm going to tell the others. Don't move. I'm telling you not to move. Put your hands up. This is a stick up. You're gonna be shot, son. Natsu had already raised her gun up when Vigilius started advancing forward, but he soon stepped back, glaring back at her. Then out of nowhere, he suddenly smiled, making Natsuhi visibly flinch. You know what? Two can play this game. I can scream and tell everyone that you threatened me with a gun. In fact, it's not even a lie, right? You're trying to frame me, aren't you? Well, I can frame you back, and my testimony so far makes much more sense than yours. I'm not just going to let you point a gun at me and frame me for a murder I didn't commit. And honestly, the one who acts the most suspicious right now, that's you. I'm done with showing compassion and patience just because you're in a tougher place after losing your family. Natty was at a loss for words, shaking from anger and frustration. She'd been certain that she had the upper hand, but without any effort from his side, she was now cornered instead. 2 seconds, I want my hydration liquid. I have hydration liquid. Yeah. It was true that she was the one holding the gun, but he was right. In this current situation, no one will be able to believe her claim that it's self-defense. She'll only be framing herself or making herself more suspicious. Her mind was racing as she kept eye contact with the man in front of her. Was it really impossible to win against him? What can she do? How can she catch him? No, the only thing she can do is to keep an eye on him from now on and make sure he won't hurt anybody else. She's the only one who knows his true face after all. It's not Vigilius. Natsuhi, it's not Vigilius. If you recognized him that badly, you'd know it's not him. Natsuhi took a deep breath, straightening in place. She wanted to answer him, to prove to him she didn't lose her will to fight yet. But before she could reply or say anything, he had on her mind. But before she could reply or say anything she had in her mind, she could hear footsteps coming from the direction of the parlor. I swear English is my first language, I promise. Ryu-san, Natsuhi-oba-san, there you are. Butler was walking as the lead of the group that contained the other remaining survivors, Eva, Rosa, Maria, Genji, Goda, Kumasawa, and Dr. Nanjo. Everyone, what happened? Where are you heading? Shannon-san went to call Kanon-san, and neither of them have returned yet. Everyone agreed to go and check together, as a group. So she didn't come back yet? I even offered to go with her just in case. Damn it! Battler clenched his fists, a troubled, pained expression on his face. Oh, you want to feed me? I have biscuits, fruit twists, I have fried chicken today. I also have garlic bread and fries. Yes, I'm a fat bugger today. My back's really itchy and I can't reach it. Send help. Yeah, anything that's gonna itch my back. Oh, wait, there's a pencil over here. Yeah. All of them? You trying to fatten me up for the winter? I mean, I will, but like... fruit chew first. I have to snack on these while I'm streaming, because yes, this might take me a while. Oh, you have Lindt chocolates? I'm very jealous. I'm reaching into my biscuit box. It's on the floor because it's a big box. A big box of broken biscuits. Is that a bourbon I see? No, it's a Rocky. That'll do. Sorry, I got very excited. I thought it was a bourbon. I love bourbons. Please don't take responsibility, Battler-sama. Shannon-chan cared a lot about Jessica-sama, so she might have taken her time to calm her heart by herself, feeling it's unfitting to grieve in front of the family members. It's a sphere of spheres. This rocky bars are very crunchy too. Kumasawa fidgeted in place a little bit, pressing her hands together with a troubled expression. She was trying to cheer Battler up, but couldn't hide the fact she was worried herself. Well, yeah. I'm sorry, but if you're not either A, scared shitless, or B, worried, I think you are either A, the killer, or B, a psychopath. If I remember correctly, I think Shannon-chan said she would look for him in the servant room. Shouldn't we check there first? As Vigilius spoke, Natsuki glanced at him quietly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have I actually got it in the right place today, though? That's always questionable. I do! It's amazing, it's a miracle. Oh yeah, I'm done with summer too. It's been really hot today. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it's 7 o'clock this morning. I almost passed out. It was just so hot in my room. I was dying. It's a lot worse for you because you're further south than me. The further south you go, the hotter it seems to be getting. I'm lucky I'm really far north, so we only get like the tail end bits of whatever hell you guys have to suffer, but holy crap. I think we only got about 27, but I mean, only 27 was bad enough. Damn. When I went to work last week, it was 31. I'm so glad I work in the pizza, in the frozen section. It's like, just wanted to throw my body into the freezer. As Vigilius spoke, Natsuki glanced at him quietly. Despite his threat, she was surprised that he didn't expose anything from their encounter just mere moments ago. Pizza Life's alright, actually. They're finally giving me some hours, so, money! I mean, it'll take a little bit for me to catch up on my build and whatnot, but we'll get there. Like, I told them when I started I need regular hours. So what did they do? They had me in for like a month or two and then just like didn't call me back. Like, can you not? Oh, are they still disabled? I'm sorry, Karen. Let me find these nuts for you. Dun, dun, dun. I tell you what, I'll even give you a free one. Oh. Or not. Oh, I'm sorry, to be muted.
Got him!
I had them disabled and muted. I'm so sorry. I'll where is it? You can have a free these nuts on me.
These nuts?
Got him!
Got him! Got him!
How we been enjoying Cult of Lamb? We raided somebody yesterday who was playing it. It does look a lot like Binding of Isaac, but I've not played. Maybe in time. I bought myself the new DLC for Elder Scrolls today, so I've been playing that. Nice! Yes, I bought the new DLC, so I went to the new area. I discovered a few of the sky shards, did a few of the dungeons, took a nice little walk around, and there's this new like little mini game that came with the chapter, and I've been sat playing it. I've only been playing against NPCs at the moment because I'm still really new to it, so that was a big hiccup. Sorry if you heard that. But yeah, I thought it would be an easy win because it was against an NPC and I was starting to get the hang of it, but the They were so close to beating me. I'm not even gonna lie, like, I clutched the victory at the very last moment. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna beat me. Oh, my monstrous hiccups are awful. I absolutely hate them. Right, let's keep it going. So in return, she just sighed and nodded. I agree. Let's begin our search there. She's gonna, like, keep that gun pointed on his back the entire time. The group continued moving together in a direct route towards the servant room. As they reached the door, Kumasao was the first one to hesitantly open it, peeking inside. Kink-ding! Shannon-chan? Ganon-kun? The servant room was empty with no signs of anyone being there. So neither of them are here. Maybe Shannon didn't find him here and went to look for him in some other places. Vigilius, Natsuhi already suspects you. Stop. For God's sake. Off they go. There was a feeling of uneasiness among the people returning to the second floor. However, with no signs of Shannon or Cannon on the first floor, the whole group climbed its way upstairs. I can just imagine them all kind of moving in a great big circle formation, like all of them facing outwards, walking at like really odd angles. As they passed by the locked doors with the magic circles on them, Battler slowed down and couldn't help but linger at the door where Rudolph and Kyrie resided. Hehehehe. Oh, we get creepy Mario now? Great. So the ceremony really has begun. Looks like I gave you a charm just in time. What are you talking about? Battler gave Mario a slightly uncomfortable expression, but his hand shot to the pocket in his pants. Yeah, bye! Battler, she's your general cousin, please, don't. Where's the charm from Mario still was? He would have expected a child her age to be repulsed by such a grotesque view, but for a girl interested in the occult, perhaps it only looked like a fun horror story with magical elements. She pointed at the circle on one of the doors with confidence, making the rest stop as well, as she spoke. Ooh, this one is the seventh circle magic of the sun. One can use this in order to borrow some powers from the sun, and it allows the users to free themselves from any kinds of bonds or shackles that bind them, both physical and mental. Why do you know this, though? You sure are knowledgeable about these things. Ooh, I'm Beatrice's apprentice after all. You see, Beatrice's magic still resides mostly in the world of unseen, and it takes a lot to make her magic reach our world. Kihihi, those sacrifices were probably made in order for her to be able to gain some power using this magic circle. Well, too bad. It's so rainy outside, I doubt there's any sun to help her now. Ryu-san, there's no need for that. Ooh, Beatrice is gaining the power she needs for her revival, and once she appears, you'll regret not believing her. Here, there's another magical circle over there already. Huh? Oh god, is there one in a different place now? Mario pointed towards the far corridor where Jessica's room was. Oh, that's where Shannon and Cannon died. Over Jessica's door was a magic circle drawn with red paint. It looked a bit similar to the magic circles on the 3 doors from the morning, but it had a slightly different inner shape, looking fresher than the other 3 circles. Battler had been so focused on the doors they'd stopped by, he hadn't even noticed there was a new circle on the other door. In a way, he almost felt like that circle on the other door hadn't been there until the moment that Mario had finally pointed at it. Is he really that blind? Does he need everything to be pointed out to him? Yes. Can he really trust what he sees with his own eyes? No, and I feel like that's going to become a reoccurring theme. At first he also thought the magic circle was identical to the one on the first 3 doors. But that one was different. He realised it as soon as he was standing close enough to the door to Jessica's room. He was in silent awe for a very short while Rosa's voice brought him back to his senses. Genji, quick, the door! Rosa, now armed with a gun as well, moved aside as Genji rushed forward. He quickly took out his master key, inserting it into the keyhole. Is it going to be locked with a chain again? They all watched Genji lingering a few seconds after unlocking the lock, slowly opening the door, which didn't stop with a chain lock. It opened. Genji opened the door carefully. Eek! Kumasawa hid her face with both hands, unable to handle the view inside the room. Over on the floor was Shannon, and that was the teardrop sound, which means we have updated character information. Servant Shannon. Her corpse was found in Jessica's room. She was covered in wounds, and a stake was piercing her heart. The greed for humanity brought her demise. Jeez. Unlike the other 6 victims, she was not fully covered in blood, but she did have various wounds around her body which made it look like she was struggling against somebody with a sharp object. In her chest was a stake-looking object piercing her heart. Butler's legs felt weak, and his sight was getting blurry. His stomach was turning upside down, and he couldn't get himself to look inside the room either. Again, I've just hiccuped. And there's another one. Had he insisted on going and escorting Shannon while she searched for Cannon, could he have avoided it? No, even beforehand. He was sleeping so peacefully in his room while his own family was getting murdered without hearing or noticing anything. How stupid can he be? Why? Why didn't he insist on going with her? Because of him, another person was murdered. Dr. Nanjo. Shannon has a master key. Can you please check to see if it's still in her possession? It's very possible the murderer had stolen a master key from her. Nanjo, who stepped inside, kneeled by the body with a frown, searching for the key for a short moment before taking it out of her pocket. It's right here. This is her master key. Nanjo showed the master key he had taken out standing up. Nazi stepped forward in order to take the key before her attention shifted to Vigilius, who had just stepped into the room. What are you doing? Exit the room right now! Vigilius ignored her this time, reaching the drawer next to Jessica's bed to pick up something that was resting on it. There's a letter over here again. I think we shouldn't waste any time now, especially if the murderer wants to use the same patterns. What do you mean, Vigilius-kun? Last time, the murderer put one body in the room and left a letter pointing to another location, using the time we were away to bring over another body. Cannon is still missing, right? Didn't Shannon go looking for Cannon-san to begin with? Exactly. So it's very possible Cannon-san is either the culprit or the next victim. Hey? The people in the hallway all looked at Vigilius, who was waving the sealed letter he had found. They all understood what he meant. After all, if this letter contained a location, it would mean that the culprit was planning to do the same trick as last time. So, are we supposed to follow the culprit's orders just like that? Exactly, and we'll use it to catch them too. To catch him? Explain yourself, Vigilius-kun. Hehe. Right now, the culprit is most likely watching from a distance, waiting for us to make our way to wherever this letter points to. Once we go there, the culprit will come back here and put a corpse inside the room. Unless the culprit is a new person we don't know of, it seems like it's either Cannon-san or Ushiromiya Kinzo. How dare you! I will not let you slander father's name like this. Call him here and make him clear his own name by himself, or be quiet. Eva defended Vigilius' reasoning before he could answer by himself, and both women glared at each other silently for a few tense moments. Then, Eva turned to Vigilius again, her expression softening. Please continue explaining your plan, Vigilius-kun. The culprit walks around freely, and it's possible they possess Cannon's master key. That's why we'll leave one person behind to guard the door, and we'll be ready to catch them. The culprit's hands will most likely be full at first, since they'll have to carry the extra body with them, but we'll probably need someone strong enough to catch them and neutralize them in that moment. As he said that, most eyes were directed at Goda and Battler. Both of them looked to be the strongest out of the group, but Goda grimaced as soon as he realized he was a candidate. I doubt I'll be able to stop such a dangerous person. It's okay, I'll do it. Battler clenched his fists as he spoke. His expression was filled with pain. It's because I didn't insist on escorting Shannon-chan that she died. The least I can do now is waiting here for the culprit and punching them in the face as soon as I see them. Oh yeah, Battler, punch them, I'll do the trick. I think that we should lock this door. If the culprit arrives and needs to use a key, it'll slow them down. It might give you a chance to strike them, especially if you hide from a distance and watch the door. That's a good idea. Natsuhi-san, give me the key. Eva stretched her hand out to Natsuhi, who gave her the key unwillingly. Key of the room, unwillingly taken. Hydrate. Thank you, thank you. The remaining people in the room stepped out before Eva locked the door. Battler-kun, please keep yourself safe. I will. I can't die until I punch the murderer in the face and make them pay for what they did. I'm reading the letter now. Vigilius opened the envelope, unfolding the paper inside, showing it to the rest of the people in the corridor. As I suspected, the letter only contained a location. The shed? There's a shed outside in the garden. Do we need to go there then? Most likely. Is this what the culprit wants in order to buy themselves time to bring over the corpse like last time? They didn't know we're setting a trap though. I think they do. Hehehehe, that's pointless. A simple trick like this is useless against Beatrice. Despite the confident feeling in the air over Vigilius's plan, Maria was laughing again, making Battler and the rest feel a grain of discouragement. What do you mean by that, occult girl? This pentacle over here is the fourth pentacle of Venus. It is specifically meant to help you bring back and unite dear ones who are far away. Kihihi, even if the second body is still far away, this magic circle will help Beatrice reunite them despite your attempts to stop her. Beatrice is very kind, even though the two who are close are meant to be torn apart. She placed another magic circle that will still allow them to reunite again after death. Oh really? Even through a guarded locked door? Locked doors mean nothing to a witch like Beatrice. We should follow the letter now. It'll help you see how great Beatrice's magic is. Kihihi! Stop encouraging these things! Battler-kun will be back soon. Vigilius-san, you're coming with us. The group started making their way downstairs as Battler stood with his back towards the door. His eyes were scanning around, and then in walks Cannon. If Vigilius was correct, the culprit would arrive at any moment, possibly adding a new corpse to that room. Battler couldn't get himself to hide. He just couldn't stand from afar and wait for the culprit to arrive and ambush them. If the culprit is dragging a corpse, they'll definitely be the slow one to react, which will give him enough time to close in the gap when they try to run away as soon as they notice him by the door. He could feel his heart beating in his ears, and the adrenaline rushing through his veins. It had already been a few long minutes since the rest had gone, and there was still no sign of anyone. Did they see him and run away? Maybe it was better for him to hide after all. He didn't hear anything, and if the culprit was approaching, he definitely would have heard something, somewhere. But the hallway was completely empty. His heart was still racing. Oh, it's gonna happen inside the locked room, and Battler's not gonna see a damn thing. It's not that he was afraid, but he was on the edge. The culprit who'll arrive is a person who's already killed 7, possibly 8 people. Just thinking about it was sickening. It's gonna happen inside the locked room, while Battler is stood outside, and they're all gonna suspect him. Oh no. Once cornered, will they cry and apologise? Or will they just laugh or be sad that their plan was sabotaged? Maybe this time the corpse really is in the shed, just like the culprit specified. Maybe it's just the culprit's way to play with them, confuse them, make them feel frustrated. Get out, you coward, show yourself. Battler hissed under his breath, stepping a little bit away from the door. He wanted to scream, he wanted to find something or someone to take his anger out on. Where are you? Come out! That was all Battler could think about. It's the rose garden. And the garden shed. And inside the garden shed. As expected, there's nothing here. Vigilius walked around the shed along with Eva, Genji, Nanjo, and Goda, who helped him look around. We should go back as soon as possible, so Batlakun won't remain in danger by himself for too long. Hopefully he already caught and neutralized the culprit by now. This time the culprit didn't leave anything in the shed to tell us to go back, so I believe they assumed we got the idea after the first time. Ah, why would they do it in the first place, making us go around like this for no reason? Kumasawa spoke grimly as Vigilius helped Genji lock down the shed again, picking up the umbrella as the group started making its way back. He was just a piece on the board, but he did know one thing. Leaving Battler to guard the door provided them 2 objective pairs of eyes at 2 important key points. That would provide them enough evidence to corner the culprit in case they showed up. But they're not gonna... You guys are back. Battler, standing exactly where he had been standing before they left, frowned when he saw the familiar group making its way back to him. Did no one arrive here while we were away? No one. I didn't even hear anyone in the hallway until I heard your footsteps. Chee. Vigilius clicked his tongue, clearly unhappy that his plan seems to have failed after all. Open the room! Open the room! Meanwhile, Eva reached over to the door, opening it again. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's gonna be canon and Shannon's gonna have disappeared. Or something stupid like that. What? Battler stared inside with horrified eyes. Or Cannon's gonna have appeared. That was impossible. After all, wasn't he guarding the door the entire time? Why? Where? He couldn't even find the words to describe what he was looking at. Instead of Shannon, the person who was lying lifeless on with I swear I haven't played this, okay? The person who was lying lifeless on the floor with a stake in his chest was Cannon. Next to him was nothing but minced meat. Chunks of chunks of mincemeat mixed with some of Shannon's clothes. There was no mistake about it. Her hat, her apron. That was impossible. He had been guarding the door the entire time. How could anyone enter and do something like this under his nose? Yummy. Was that mincemeat over there really Shannon? He felt like he was going to vomit just thinking about it. Batlakun! What is the meaning of this? Weren't you guarding the door the entire time? I was. No one came. There was no one over here. I didn't open the door either. He couldn't have? That's his alibi. He can't have opened the door. It was locked. And the person who had the key then walked away. Then how can you explain this? I can't. His voice came out weaker than he expected. He was shaken. I think everyone is a little shaken. How could it be possible? Was it through the window? It doesn't seem to be locked. But that would be insane. Just for the sake of making such a messed up trick? This is now the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh, and they become one flesh. What the hell are you talking about? Book of Genesis 2:23 and 2:24, the creation of Eve from Adam. It is a part of the verses that appear inside this magic circle. You cannot see this, but Shannon and Cannon are now together again. Beatrice's magic brought them together. I don't give a damn about your verses. Are you expecting me to believe Shannon-chan became mincemeat behind that door while I was guarding it? Yes. No, Batlakun couldn't have opened this door anyway. Eversan has the master key, and we all went together to the shed. Dr. Nanjo, please check if Cannon's master key is in Cannon's possession. It is. It will be. I know it is. Dope verses indeed. Nanjo kneeled by Cannon's body, careful not to touch the grotesque chunks of meat on the floor, and checked Cannon's pockets. As expected, the master key was there. I have my master key. I didn't leave it, and I was with you the whole time. The same goes for me. I was with you in the shed the whole time. I am the same. I did not leave my master keys behind. We only have 5 master keys in this mansion, 1 for each servant. The 3 servants showed their keys to everybody. Along with the key Nanjo had just retrieved from Cannon's pocket, and with Shannon's master key in Eva's hands, that made a total of 5 keys. That would mean nobody had a way to open that door, unless... Does Jessica-san's room have a specific key that can unlock it besides the master keys? Right, it does! She's always either carrying it with her or leaving it by her bed in that bowl over there. Kumasawa pointed inside the room towards the drawer where they had found the previous letter. The bowl she had spoke about was empty, but next to it was a new letter. Oh. This time, Battler was the fastest to reach the drawer, almost ripping the envelope open, narrowing his eyes at the text. Praise my name? The hell with that! Vigilius, on the other hand, started opening the closet doors and peeked under the bed. Ah yes, nobody is hiding in the room. I know what they're setting up here. I know what they're setting up. Have you figured it out yet? I wonder if everybody else has figured it out yet. Eventually he stood up with an irritated expression, biting onto the nail of his thumb. I should have done that beforehand. It's possible the culprit even hid in the room and escaped through the window while it was locked. That, people may not be who they say they are. I should have searched the room beforehand, he muttered to himself, searching in the same places he had already investigated once again. Indeed, very sus. Batlacon, I trust you, but I think that in order to clear this one out, we should at least check if Jessica's key is still in Jessica's possession. Don't worry, I understand. You can check my pockets right now to make sure if you want. Battler flipped his pockets inside out to show they were all completely empty, aside from the one charm he got from Mario, which he took out as he showed his possessions to Eva. Ooh, you really treasure this charm. That'll definitely keep protecting you. Yeah, maybe that's why our great witch didn't bother showing herself in front of me, that sick bastard. Eva-san, please hand over the master key. Let me be the one to check Jessica's key, please. At the very least, let me be the one who does that. Eva didn't answer, but handed the key to Natsuhi in silent agreement. There was a lot of tension in the air as the group made their way to the other doors. Yet Natsuhi is Jessica's mother? Natsuhi had been standing in front of the door with a conflicted expression. Disturbing the dead like this felt wrong, but she knew there was no choice. They had to know if the culprit had access to that key in order to understand what had happened. Even though she didn't want to see her husband and daughter in such a horrifying condition again. In her mind, she wanted to remember them happy and smiling. She wanted to remember them unharmed and safe. But that was no longer possible. With shaking hands, she unlocked the door to Krause's study, pushing it open. The door made a creaking sound as it opened. Meow. Eek! Natsuhi dropped the key from her hand, stepping back before falling down, covering her mouth in horror. Inside
These
the room,
nuts. Got him! Got him!
these nuts truly horrifying. Holy shit, Karen! Inside the room where Krause and Jessica once were, there was nothing left. Just like Shannon, there was only minced meat and some clothes. Bloody, raw meat parts scattered where there was once a corpse. A jacket, a tie, things that were mixed up with the blood and the scraps that were left behind. It was like someone was eating, munching and gnawing on their corpses until there was nothing but scraps left behind. Oh, this one's going to be an odd one to explain then, because if Battler was in that hallway, you can... without spoiling too much of Umineko's core series, I can explain away Cannon and Shannon being switched, and Shannon ending up as mincemeat, but I can't explain the others. If you know, you know, like, kind of thing. Raw bloody flesh that no one could no longer recognise was once a human lying there. Battler heard Eva screaming, and could also recognise from the noise that she was struggling with Vigilius. He was trying to stop her from opening the door to Hideyoshi and George's room, probably to save her the same sight Natsuhi had already seen. Battler could only walk backwards until his back hit the wall and let himself slide down, his eyes hollow. Last time he saw his old man, he was already dead. He was covered in blood in a grotesque scene, but his face was peaceful. Does it mean he's in the same condition now? With nothing but raw, disgusting, bloody pieces scattered all over, unrecognizable, not even bearing a human form anymore. Why? Why are they beyond recognition? I can't even tell there was a human there. Ah! Battler-san, please don't describe it like this. Don't describe it like this? That's exactly how it is. There's nothing but scraps of meat. Could I at least be grateful that they were already dead when they were treated like this? How can it even be possible? Why? Why? Damn it! Damn it! Alright, so when you see this border, we go back onto the kind of meta layer that's kind of like above what's happening all here. Didn't you say you'd keep the disgust level low for my sake? I changed my mind. You seem so calm and peaceful despite my ritual, so I decided I had to show you how limitless my powers are. Natsuhi-san was acting suspiciously the whole time. Perhaps before I went to the restroom, she had time to go and meddle with the crime scene. Don't worry about it. Ever since the discovery of the first Twilight, Natsuhi tailed after you the whole time. She didn't have time to go and meddle with crime scenes. Aren't you happy you're getting such a VIP treatment from the mistress of the house? Then what about Shannon-san or Kanan-san? They had plenty of time to do it, right? Oh, now this one's going to be interesting. Shannon and Kanan didn't kill anyone. I guess they didn't, did they though? It's not Shannon and Kanan, is it? With these red truths, it's always wordplay. It's not what's said, it's how it's said. How cruel. Battler was always so hesitant to blame anyone he knows, but it must be easy for you, right? Ryu. Then what do you want me to reason that there's another person besides me who reached the shores of Rokkanjima and kills everyone? Is that how lame you are? How rude. I'm way more elegant than that. Before you joined in, there were no more than 18 humans on Rokkanjima. Furudo Vigilius only increases it by one person, and no other people reached the shore. Aside from Furudo Vigilius, the number of people on this island is exactly the same as it was in the previous games. Was there some dead the whole time in which the culprit could sneak in despite Battler's guard? We still don't know where Jessica-san's key is. Even your reasoning starts getting almost pathetic as Battler's, Vigilius. From the moment the door was locked by Eva, until the moment Eva opened it again, the door was not opened, not even once. Well, that's definitely interesting. How are we going to explain this one then? If all 3 doors were closed... No, sorry. All 4 doors were closed and locked. The room that Shannon and Kanan were in, the room that Jessica and Kraus were in, the room that Kyrie and Rudolph were in, and the room that had Hideyoshi and George in were all locked, and Battler was stood in the hallway. He could see all of these doors. He didn't see nobody around. How did it happen? Very interesting. Aren't you trusting your partner? It's you I don't trust. I don't want it. I don't want to suspect anyone from my family. I can't do it. I just can't. But you do realize you don't have a choice, right? Gah. You're a good person, so it's hard for you to suspect people you love, but you don't have any other choice at this point. I told you, we can only trust ourselves at this point. This and the red truth. I think it might be Battler. He's got to have accomplices though. There's no way he'd be able to do something like this himself. I think we're having unreliable narrator syndrome. It's our only lead. No, I don't want it anymore. The only other thing though is where Jessica's room key is. Can we remember who picked up the letter from Jessica's room? It was Battler, wasn't it? Battler picked up the key. Picked up the letter from Jessica's room. He could easily have picked up the key at the same time and slide it somewhere where nobody would find it. Maybe he's keeping it in a different pocket so that it doesn't have to reveal that he has the key. Or maybe he's already planted it somewhere. Maybe he's planted it in one of the other rooms. Although, no, he didn't have the... He only had the key to Jessica's room, so even if Battler was the culprit, he'd only be able to mess with Shannon and Cannon. He shouldn't have been able to mess with the other ones because they were in a room that he did not have the key for. Perhaps he's got an accomplice that's either Eva or... No, Rosa. I can't imagine Eva would want to kill her husband and son. It would draw attention away from her being the culprit though, because I mean, who wants to kill their own husband and son, right? It's always plausible. No, I don't want this sickening game. I've had enough of it. Are you giving up already? Snap out of it! Vigilius grabbed onto Battler's jacket, aggressively looking furious. Weren't you babbling about how much you won't give up no matter what? You're the one who lets her win. If we win against her, we'll be safe, right? We'll leave that cursed island and return home. This is the miracle we need to reach. Oh, a miracle? Sounds like you need Burncastle. Oh, I say it and then it pops up. No, I wouldn't be a terrible detective. Is that the miracle that Lady Burncastle promised you? That's none of your damn business. I was just curious. Is that all you have now? I expected some more interesting reasoning. Cheh, you sick show-off. So that so-called mincemeat of yours isn't even real human mincemeat. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'll have to wait for the VOD for this one, but... Who was it? Can we remember who was it that suggested that either Battler or Golda-san stay behind? Was it Rosa? Was it Rosa's idea that one of them should stay behind to guard the door? Because if so, there we have our accomplice. Perhaps Rosa killed the first lot. Then, while... Did Rosa go out and check the chapel with everybody when the bodies were carried in for the first twilight? Oh, it'll definitely be fake minced meat. But I think Rose is an accomplice, or even she's the culprit and Battler's the accomplice. But I believe those two are working together, and we've got an unreliable narrator on our hands. The culprit just moved corpses away and placed it to make it look like it did. Vegan minced meat. Which one of them is vegan? Question, and this is a good lead. Indeed. After the 6 died, no human moved them to another place. Oh, okay. Okay. That's a weird one. After the 6 died, so on the first twilight, after the 6 people had died, nobody moved them to another place. That just means they all died in the room that they were in. So perhaps they all got a letter to go to those rooms. That, as strange as it sounds, is not surprising. Ehehe, should I repeat it again? No one good. After their deaths, no human moved them to another place. That also means that your theory that Jessica, George and Kirio's corpses were placed into the rooms also fails. Well, no, it just means that they were killed in those rooms after everybody went to the chapel. So I want to know who the fuck went to the chapel. when they received the letter. Was Battler with them? Was Battler not with them? Feed Kohaku, what are you gonna feed me? I haven't finished eating the last lot of stuff yet. But biscuit, fruit chew, chicken, garlic bread, fries, or shaved meat. Nom 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 nom. Got a lot today. These nuts. I don't have any nuts and I refuse to eat nuts after what happened last time. Garlic bread? Garlic? And bread? Yeah. Like garlic bread it is. Jessica, Kirio, and George didn't die in the rooms they were found in. What? Eh? What? After their deaths, no human moved them to another place. That also means that your theory about Jessica, George, and Kirio's corpses that were placed in the rooms afterwards fails. Jessica, Kirio, and George did not die in the rooms they were found in, okay, so they weren't moved by a person. The servants, they don't call themselves humans, they call themselves furniture. It was one of the servants. Nah, you see, I can see through your bullshit, Beatrice. But that's no problem for me. After all, with my magic I can move them, tear them to pieces and make them minced meat as much as I want. Didn't you say you were both going to defeat me together? Didn't you say that the red truth is supposed to get us closer? Right now, I feel like I'm getting further and further. The truth feels further than ever. Wait, I want to take a screenshot of that one. Because I've got an idea for this one. It's not garlic baguettes. It is just straight up garlic bread. Flatbread. It's like a pizza, but it's garlic bread. Bartley was clenching his head, and Vigilius gritted his teeth in irritation, glaring at the witch who stood at the other side of the table. Oops. Ah, these are some really good expressions. These are fantastic expressions, both of you. I've been waiting for this. Battler had already given me so many nice faces in a span of 1.5 games, but waiting for the frustration of another stubborn man never fails to bring me joy. Hey, you going to cry for me as well? Cry for me, Ferudo Vigilius. I want to hear you cry. Why aren't you crying? Go ahead and cry. Yeah. Beatrice, you're having too much fun with this, but I can see through your shit. They're saying it wasn't a human. There's no animals that exist on Rokkanjima. However, the servants do not consider themselves human. They consider themselves as furniture. I'd be asking her to repeat in red. Did furniture move the bodies? I still don't understand. Battler was sitting on the couch, holding his head with his eyes shut. Along with him, there were 5 other people in the living room. Rosa, Maria, Eva, Natsuki, and Vigilius were present. All of the survivors besides the servant, Kinzo, and Dr. Nanjo. Why? Where's Nanjo? Where's Nanjo? Why is Nanjo not there? The servants went to the servant room as a group in order to keep each other safe, leaving the rest of the people in the living room. Okay. Despite the illusion of safety when other people, there was nothing but a heavy feeling in the air. The window wasn't locked, so there was still a chance that the culprit made the switch under our noses. They probably knew we'd assumed that they were going to do the same pattern and made a backup plan. Yes. Which is why Rosa said to Battler, "Stay behind. Do my bidding. I'll give you money." I should have told you to wait inside the room for the culprit so they wouldn't notice you. Vigilius sat in front of some papers where he had drawn the layout of the second floor. It irritated him to no end. There had to be a proper way to explain it. Going from one room to another through the windows is dangerous, but not impossible. As a teenager, Mother used to lock me up in the room as punishment. I was too angry to listen, so I decided to climb through the window to the next room over just in spite. You never told me about it. I don't want to give you any ideas. Sometimes I did try to act like a proper big sister, and now it's only the two of us. Evanescence. Still, I guarded both while standing in the hallway. If someone snuck into the room the next over, I probably would have seen it. Unless they started from a room much further than Jessica's and moved through the windows outside just to avoid me. It's crazy. No, there's been too much emphasis put on how much Vigilius and Battler trust each other, and how they can only trust their own eyes. Way too much focus put on. I think Battler is an unreliable narrator. Unfucking reliable. Or it's possible that they waited there before we all arrived. Weren't we all together by that time? Ushiromi and Kinzo are still missing. As I spoke, Natsuhi slammed the table with her fists. Did you come here just to keep blaming people from our family for murdering each other? How can you be so cruel? Natsuhi-ne-san, I'm sorry, but Vigilius-kun is right. At this point, we can't remove suspicions from anyone, not even from Father. You see this? You see this? Rosa's trying to pin it on fucking Kinzo. It's her. It's her. I swear to God, it's her. Natsuhi glared at Rosa, who flinched a little bit before looking away. They're both very sus. Didn't Ever-san confirm it herself? Father didn't leave the room since last night, so there was no way for him to do any of it. I didn't have time to visit him today since Genji called me immediately to see the other doors. How convenient for you. I put the note just before I went to the guest house. Does that mean you didn't even go to question him about the letter from the witch last night, as you said you would? I passed by my room and felt very unwell, so I ended up falling asleep before being able to do so. So I planned on not notifying him until first thing in the morning instead. Ha! You're suspicious of me? I didn't do it. You were looking at me the whole time. I was reading you this beautiful story. It couldn't have been me. In other words, we can't even confirm that by the time Evo-san put the note in the door that Kinzo was even there. What are you implying? That Kinzo was never there in the first place. Sorry, I'm just taking a huge bite of this garlic bread. This weird, like, ripping motion you can see with my head is me, like, biting this garlic bread. It's possible that Kinzo-san is in another place right now. Another room or another location altogether. We all think he's in the room, but he can walk around freely, doing as he pleases. Why are you so fixated on blaming him? Why are you so fixated on defending him? Your husband and daughter have just died. Maybe you're the unreliable narrator. Yabe, they're onto me. Quick, hide. Neo-san, that's enough. It's natural that she'll want to defend her remaining family members. No, there's another reason that she's defending him. Again, I will not spoil this for anyone who does actually want to play Umineko. Still, if Father is in charge of all of this, then it's very possible that the servants are working with him as well. Look at them both, conspiring little fuckers. But if they are, why did Shannon-chan and Kanon-kun die? Battler sank in his chair, glancing blankly in front of him. Vigilius was right, the only person who could go around freely and do all these things was Kinzo. He couldn't think of any other possibility right now, but still. Oh, got hiccups. Why? Why would he do it? Killing his family members. Didn't he care at all? Did he hate them all enough to kill them? Ooh, this is not the work of a human. There is no need to think about it like this. After all, everyone can see it's a witch who did it. Heh, that's right. We've been ignoring this completely. Vigilius's eyes glinted a little, as if he had reached some kind of understanding. He let out a dry laugh, holding his head. This is so stupid, almost stupidly misleading. Even choosing the sacrifices like this, we keep asking them the wrong question. The wrong question? What wrong question? No, then what's the right question? That's easy. Who has an interest in creating an illusion of the witch? We keep thinking, who has a motive to kill these people, but that might all be wrong. I think the chosen people don't matter, but rather the way of presentation. So you're saying the choices don't matter, but rather how it was done? It's very possible. After all, the culprit is taking big risks and gambles in order just to create the illusions that the murders were done with magic. We're talking about a culprit that possibly climbs around from outside the mansion, or takes the time to draw extra circles whenever they act, which might be very time-consuming when you're on the run. There are a few types of reasoning we can think of to explain it. Vigilius stood up and started walking around the room, pressing his head to his chin. It's not the first time in history serial killers are using trademarks. In fact, some serial killers found it thrilling that people knew it was the same person who committed all the murders, and some even got annoyed once the other killers tried to imitate their style. You're probably talking about serial killers like Jack the Ripper. He's probably the most famous one. His specific trademarks and reasoning remain a mystery to this day. Precisely. And on top of that, there's an argument over the number of his victims. Some suggested the other killers during the era even adapted his killing style, making it harder to trace the original killer. So our couple has motivation to work harder just for a trademark? Why? They could just be a psychopath, right? Still, even if they're not, they get excited knowing we're deluded by the illusion of the witch, while getting satisfaction from watching us struggle. They get excited from this game of tag, and perhaps their grand prize is actually for us to catch them. After all, they work so hard in order to leave us clues and letters, it's almost like a game in their eyes. What kind of twisted person would make a serial killing a game? They probably think a witch would do so, which is why they take the alias of Beatrice. With such an alias, they can also throw away the burden of being the twisted person they are and become a witch. Vigilius knows nothing about magic. Magic can also be beautiful and warm. After Beatrice revives, she's going to revive everyone so we can be together in the Golden Land. I'm sorry, you said afterlife wrong. Alright, then please ask her to leave an apology letter saying, "I'm sorry, but I really need to resurrect. Please be patient until I'm done with my brutal killing ceremony, and then I promise to revive you all. Then maybe I'll reconsider." Oh my god, that's what the next one's gonna say, isn't it? Ooh, when you don't believe in magic, the magic disappears. It's because you don't believe in that ceremony it looks like this. Ooh. Excellent. See, we just got some new information. According to Maria-chan, magic requires belief, so I'm going to assume our culprit thinks the same. In fact, we don't necessarily need to believe the culprit and the person who alters the crime scene are the same person. 'Cause they're not. Wait, so you mean it's possible the murderer and the person who creates the scene are different people? Yes, and one of them is your sister, your dear little Imoto-chan. Yes, that's definitely a possibility. Even if you wish to keep Ushiromiya Kinzo's hands clean from murder, we can't deny the possibility he uses the murder in order to help the illusion of the witch. Don't you think so, Natsuhi-san? Vigilius gave Natsuhi a sweet smile, making her glare at him with hatred. I do not mean to sound rude, but from hearing Jessica-san and some of the servants talking about Kinzo-san, he seems to be very invested in black magic. Even if you don't want to believe he's capable of murder, we can't deny he's capable of drawing some magic circles. In fact, who would be more knowledgeable than him in drawing such things? Maria-chan, are the magic circles accurate? Ugh. Maria glared at the man clenching onto her bag. Yes, but if Rosa and Battle are accomplices, or one of them's the killer and the other one's the accomplice, Maria's the expert on magic circles, and Rosa is Maria's mother, so like, take from that information what you will. Basically, that little nice notebook that Maria likes to carry around with her that's got all those magic circles in, Rosa could easily swipe that at any time. In fact, I'm pretty sure if she said something along the lines of, "Oh Maria, I want to learn about witches and magic circles too," that Maria would just hand it over and not think twice. Ooh, I'm not telling you. Ha, don't worry, you already did. Maria-chan easily recognized each magic circle. I believe that if there was any inaccuracy, she would have pointed it out immediately to show her wild knowledge while we stood there. After all, she was quoting from the Bible and recognized it right away, so the pentacles were definitely the work of a professional. Your knowledge was very useful, Maria-chan. I'm thankful. There's no escaping it then. We have to go and question Father. Vigilius-kun is right. Even if he's not the culprit, it's very possible he's a collaborator, or let the culprit borrow his knowledge and experience. Why would Father do such a thing? This is why we need to ask him. We'll check his room, and if he's not there, it's very possible that Vigilius-kun is right, and Father is at the very least a collaborator. And say that's why you're both wrong. Sorry, it's more garlic bread time. Therefore, simply by checking if Kinzo is in the room or not, we can deduce whether he took part in it or not. After all, if he's still in his room, we can definitely say he's innocent, and Natsuhi's heart can rest assured. On top of that, we might get some crucial information anyway. Isn't it great? We can't just assume that because Father's decided to leave the room without informing anyone that he's immediately an accomplice. Right, but finding him in the room will clear any suspicions. It's a very simple logic. Butler stood up as well. Natsuhi Oba-san, how can we enter Grandfather's room? Let's prove him innocent, or at least let's clear this mystery up. I believe Genji-san has the key to his room right now. We should pass by the servant room and take the key from him. Excellent. Let us go, shall we? I've got some very I think my theory is very right at the moment. The remaining servants of the Ushiromiya family were all sitting in the servant room, a gloomy aura filling the room. No one really knew what to say but the discovery of the two younger servants who died, so the room remained silent most of the time, and the only sound that filled the room was the rain that was drumming on the window. Kumasawa, who seemed to be the one affected by Shannon's death, sat down, still fidgeting and messing with her apron. Her expression was sad, almost regretful, and she refused to raise her head from the floor for a very long time. Eventually, Goda reached her side, placing a warm cup of tea next to her. Here you go, Kumasawa. It'll make you feel better. Thank you. Kumasawa put her hands over the warm cup, glancing at her reflection in the tea. Bless me. They were still young. They had long lives ahead of them. As Nanjo spoke, it was as if he voiced the thoughts of all the people who were present in the room. After all, while all of them were already adults, Shannon and Cannon were still young. And despite that fact, out of the servants, they were the ones who were chosen to be killed. It's just too cruel. After all, weren't George Summer and Shannon Chen? Bringing it up now will bring nothing but more pain. Let them reunite in peace in heaven. You're right, but still, I wonder if there had been a way for me to do something better for those children. I wonder if I had done something wrong and that maybe if I had figured it out, they could have been happier. You were like a mother to them. I believe you gave them everything you could, Kumasawa. Please, do not blame it on yourself. Besides, If there was no way for us to have known the culprit would go after them, we don't even know how strong the culprit is. Goda moved uncomfortably in place. As much as he didn't want to admit it, he was still shaken by the idea that he had almost ended up guarding the door instead of Battler, which means that he himself had a chance to encounter the culprit all by himself. Well, no, because if Battler wasn't in front of the door, the culprit wouldn't have been there. Just straight up. After all, nobody would have wanted to fight against an unknown enemy, especially when you couldn't even know if it was a witch or a human. Just then, the door made a clicking sound and opened. Eva was the one who stood by the entrance, and behind her were Vergilius, Natsuhi, and the rest of the remaining Ushiromiya family members. Genji, we need you to open the door to Father's study. Genji lingered, looking at Natsuhi, who only gave him a defeated expression before looking away. Understood. I will join you at once. We'll come too. We should all stick together in a big group, right? Most likely. It'll give the culprit a harder time attacking us while we're in smaller groups like they did up until now. They keep outsmarting us, so we should be careful. With those... Wait. Where did it say Rosa was? Oh, no, Rosa's there as well. With those words, the group then left the servant room, making their way to the 3rd floor. Hi, Kinzo. The ritual is proceeding just as planned. After eight sacrifices already offered themselves to you, which will be the next? Who will be gouged and killed in order to revive the witch? The head of the Ushiromiya family glanced at the door. The knob still had the seal of the scorpion which protected his room from the presence of the witch. Wait, 8 people have died? Oh yeah, of course. It's only the second twilight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 and 8, the 2 who were close. Right, so we need gouged in the head and kill, gouged in the chest and kill, gouged in the... I think it's stomach, leg and ankle. And that completes the ceremony. So there's still 5 more to go. Which 5 is it gonna be? However, he already knew. The stronger the witch becomes, the less effective this seal was for restraining the witch from reaching his room. The man in the room constantly struggled with himself. On one hand, he wanted to open the door and welcome the Golden Witch with open arms, accepting any death or curse that she would bring upon him. But if he were able to do so, would it make the game boring? As much as his desire to meet the witch was strong, the desire to entertain her until this was his very last breath was even stronger. He wanted to give her at least one final game, a final entertainment. Ushiromiya Kinzo had been a gambler his entire life. And now it was his one final game, and his one final choice to help the witch avoid the poison of boredom. Come, Beatrice, try opening this door. If you do, I shall offer myself as a sacrifice without any further resistance. This is our final game together. He could already feel it. The witch was standing on the other side of that door. Oh, how he longed to open the door, and yet had to hold back. After all, the witch would never forgive him if he were to give himself up so easily. The door rattled with loud noises. It sounded like a beast struggling on the other side, attempting to open the door, which only made Kinzo laugh even louder. Holy shit, these are some loud sounds. The door kept shaking and making disturbing noises. Doors don't make disturbing noises. Just what was happening on the other side of that door? Her mother. The barrier was slowly breaking. It was just as he had thought. She was already powerful enough to breach his defenses, and now it was only a matter of time. Kinzo kept looking at the door with anticipation. Its brown colour was slowly being stained red, blood oozing from the cracks between the wall and the door. Oh, so you're gonna flood the room and kill me like this? Haha, how cruel and magnificent of you, Beatrice. So if we're denying magic, and we're denying witches, and she isn't literally taking down a door, then we have to assume either Battler, Arosa has taken the key from the servant room or from Genji and is just unlocking the door like a regular person. However, because of the red truth that we got offered before that says that a human did not move the bodies but they did not die in the room that they were found in, it means there is a third accomplice who identifies as furniture. So out of the rest of the family members, there is a third accomplice who is either Genji, Shannon, or Kanon. Because these are the ones who consider themselves furniture. Does Goda consider himself furniture, or does he just say he's a servant? Her greed for humanity brought her to her demise. So she greeded for humanity. So she's not human in their eyes. So can we assume the third person is Shannon? I'm gonna deduce it's Shannon for now. And that would explain how they had time when Battler was stood outside the door. Shannon dressed up as Kanon and used her clothes to make the appearance of Shannon's minced meat, while Battler did the same to the others. Interesting. You won't even let me see you one last time? After all I need to do in order to see you is open this door. Then, even for you, just a single moment, I'll be able to see you. But if I don't open the door, I will die embraced in red and not in your arms. Are these the choices you're offering me? A shrieking laughter echoed from the outside, and slowly the red liquid started reshaping. It was hard to tell at first, but slowly it reshaped into goat butlers, which now stood in front of the man. Therefore, the barrier had already been breached. There was no reason to keep up this game going anymore. The man attempted approaching the door, his hand stretching forward. But he was stopped by the horde of goats that were grasping onto him. The knob was just a little bit away from his reach. That fact only made him laugh manically. After all, he only needed to open the door for the shortest moment in order to be satisfied, but his hands couldn't stretch far enough. He stretched out his hand more and more, trying to reach the door before it suddenly fell down. Kinzo didn't even notice, but the goats were already gnawing on him, chewing and tearing him to pieces. But as long as his eyes could see, as long as they were still in place, he was only interested in the closed door that separated him and the witch. Eating, chewing, gnawing. The room was filled with red, and filled with the man's insane laugh. He yelled and called for the witch, who never answered his cries. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Slowly and mercilessly, the man became nothing more than mutilated pieces on the floor. His laughter died as well. Bye, Kinzo! What a shame. You knew you were going to lose this gamble, and yet you still gambled until the very end, losing the opportunity to see me one last time. However, you truly managed to entertain me with your last breath, Kinzo. I was not disappointed. Now, where should I put you? The witch inhaled from her pipe, exhaling over the body parts on the floor. How about the boiler room downstairs, in the incinerator? And leave a nasty smell throughout the whole house. The blood and the body pieces disappeared one by one with the smoke, leaving the room spotless. This door cannot protect you anymore, not from witches, nor from humans, and so it was time for you to die. I gave you the chance to see me, and you rejected it. Farewell, Kinzo. Next time we shall be meeting in the Golden Land. Oh, looks like your guests were too late for your final show. Our game has ended, but their game has only just begun. Father, are you there? Please answer. Enough with that. Just open the door, Genji. Voices echoed from outside the room before the door unlocked. That's a very impressive room. It's almost like a little home within the mansion. No wonder one could hole up here for days. Is it really the time for this? The head is missing. Well, that just proves my theory that he might be an accomplice after all. It says nothing. He might realize something is happening and made sure to escape by himself. How selfish of him. That's no better than being an accomplice. The master's behavior can be unexpected at times. It's not unlikely for him to leave to another room or place within the mansion, so he won't be found. The window was locked from the inside and the floor is dry, so I don't think he went through the window. Isn't it the third floor? What kind of a person is your grandfather? Don't underestimate him. If anyone is crazy enough to jump out and escape through a third floor window, it's grandfather. and Battler, apparently. Are there any other rooms that aren't visited often or kept locked most of the time? There's the VIP room. I remember it was occasionally open to be cleaned by the servants, but I never got to see that room beyond a few peeks inside. Some of the other guest rooms aren't often used either, and of course, there's the guest house, but I can't see Father going there, especially not in this awful weather. I don't think we're losing anything for at least trying to search for him in the mansion. Might also help us to find where people were stored before they moved to the rooms every time. After all, this room is completely clean. Good idea. It might just end up as another unlucky game of tag, but at least we can hope the culprit will trip and make a mistake. It truly is the worst reason for you to get a tour of the mansion, huh? Trust me, I would skip it any day if not for the circumstances, really. The two men smiled wryly at each other as they searched around in Kenzo's study one last time, until eventually exiting the room. The group proceeded together in the hallway in silence, with only their footsteps echoing in the corridor. It was like they were hoping to hear a set of footsteps that didn't match, or for any clue that would lead them forward. Hey, which room is that one over there? Vigilia suddenly pointed forward. That's the VIP room! Everyone stopped where they stood. Magic circle? The door to the VIP room was just a few meters away, but all of them could already tell. It was slightly opened. Was someone there? Or at least had been there? Or perhaps, was it the room the corpses were stored in? Nah, too far, too far. No way, don't tell me grandfather is actually in there. Only one way to find out. Eva was the first one to approach the door, her grip on her gun tightening as she used her leg to open the door wide, her gun pointing inside. What is that? Eva Obasan, what did you find? Huh? Battler wore a similar expression to Eva's as he reached the door. Oh, was it the doll? The room was completely empty with no sign of anyone inside. However, one thing was out of place. A cloak was lying on the floor close to the entrance. Is that grandfather's? Yes, no doubt about it. That's Kinzo-san's cloak. Eva picked it up from the floor, trying to check if there was anything in it. However, there were no signs of blood or anything of the sort. Why? Why would it be here? How did it arrive to this place? That's bad. If Kinzo-san's not an accomplice, I believe he might already be dead. Why would you say that? Because it's the same pattern. Clothes left behind. The only difference is there's no blood or scraps. We're still one step too late. Vigilius clicked his tongue, irritated. Well, that narrows down the list of suspects for the servants, because they've all been together. And people who are not an accomplice have an alibi for these people. Except the ones who have died. Or, should I say, if I want to make this a theory, faked their death? I mean, who checked the body to see if they were actually dead, right? Who actually checked the bodies to see if they were dead? Was it Battler? Was it Rosa? Did nobody check them at all? We've not been given it in red. What does this one say? So I believe it's either Shannon or Canon. One of these is the accomplice for Battler and Rosa-san's plan of world domination. Ooh, what's that? Mario pointed at the floor. Below Kenzo's clock, there was something that looked like a bit of black dust, dirtying the spotless VIP room. Looks like ash, the one that you would find in a fireplace. Let's go through all the rooms that have fireplaces in them. Hi, Tyrant here. How you doing? How you doing? How's your day been so far? I'm a loody. A loody or a lady? There's a difference, it's only small though. Let's look through all the rooms that have fireplaces in them, and it's our only lead. Oh, you are forgiven, you are absolutely forgiven. Yay, I'm glad you feel better. Big hugs. Big hugs for tea. Do you smell something? I think it's coming from the boiler room. Genji had already taken his keys out in order to unlock the door to the boiler room as the group went downstairs. Oh, a hug just for you, a hug just for you, I promise. It's unlocked? He opened the door, coughing a little at the dust, followed by the rest. Oh, didn't I say he was going to end up in the boiler room in the incinerator? Is anyone here? Battler and Vigilius immediately start searching around the place. At first they searched behind some boxes and behind the boiler itself, and in the end, only one place was left to check. Dun dun dun, the incinerator! With a disturbed expression, Vigilius reached out his hand and opened the boiler. Yabe! Eek! Vigilius stepped back, putting both hands over his mouth, looking so disgusted that he was about to vomit. And Kumasawa looked like she was going to faint, screeching as she tried to get as far as possible from the site. Inside the boiler was a corpse. No, a corpse wasn't the proper way to describe it. The corpse was completely burnt, something one could perhaps expect since it was placed inside the boiler. But it wasn't just that, it was just in pieces. And there we go, we have the character sheet has been updated. Oh, it's in several pieces, I see. His corpse was found burnt in the boiler room, his limbs were cut off and his head was halfway cut off. A stake was piercing his forehead. You lost your gamble. So, I guess out of the witch's epitaph now, that's pierced the head. Now does what? The chest, the stomach, the leg, the ankle? The limbs were separated from the body, resting it next to it almost like an exhibition, and even the head seemed to be cut halfway down with a stake piercing it in the forehead. It was like someone had started cutting it off and had never bothered to finish the job. Rosa-san, please take Mario out of the room immediately. What the hell? Is that grandfather? He's not even recognizable. Why is he in pieces? Yes, that's Kenzo-san. The feet, the corpse, it has 6 toes. Nanjo pointed with a slightly shaky hand at the legs. Just as he had said, it could still be seen that the corpse had 6 toes. There was no doubt about it, the burnt, mutilated corpse belonged to Ushiromiya Kinzo. Warn me not to eat anything before you show off how tasteless your style is. You finally start sounding like Battler Vigilius and getting excited. Oh, and in case you were wondering, this is indeed Ushiromiya Kinzo's corpse. So don't start having funny ideas like mannequins or anything of the sort. You definitely surpassed yourself this time. That's the third time you've burnt Grandfather, but this time you didn't even let him stay in one piece. Repeating the same pattern again and again isn't my style, so I had to at least make some kind of change after all. Nyahaha! Now what? You really hope for Kinzo to be an accomplice, and now he's dead. That changes nothing. For all I care, he only died now, so there's no reason to deny the possibility he could have done so before. Ushiromiya Kinzo died in this room. What? Yeah, no, not again. From the moment Eva stuck the paper in his door on October 4th evening until the time that Genji unlocked it for the group to inspect it, the door was not opened, not even once. The window wasn't opened either. That's because Grandfather was never in the room. Dun dun dun! This cursed red truth again, with this cursed truth with no holes. Didn't I tell you already? The more red we get, the closer we'll get to the real truth. Then solve it! Solve it already! Why aren't you solving it? Huh? Suddenly it's my role alone? Weren't you her opponent as well? Since when did you stop thinking and leave it all to me? I can't do it, Ryu. I just can't do it. No. We can still blame a person X, an outsider who did it. Like who? Like me? She already said no one but me reached the island, that there are no more than 18 people on the island. You need to face it already, Battler-san. Someone in your family's a murderer, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Quiet, quiet, I don't want to hear it from you. You won't hear it from anyone other than me. The woman in front of you here will just tell you it's a witch. Battler tried to look away, but Vigilius grabbed his shoulder furiously, forcing him to face him. Blaming Person X and blaming the witch, is there any difference at all? If you weren't ready to deny the witch, even with the price of blaming someone from your family, then why did you enter this fight to begin with? If you just plan on trying to solve it with the easy outsider, then you should have just admitted it was a witch, isn't that right? Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean it's easy for me. I never said it was easy. Who the hell said it's easy? But why won't you recognize that trying to make everyone innocent all the time and trying to deny the witch at the same time is impossible? Your sole goal should have been to prove it was done by a human, but it looks like your only goal is to keep your family's hands clean. If that was your wish, then surrendering to the witch was a choice that made more sense. Now, which is more important for you, denying the witch or keeping your family innocent? Vigilius spoke those words in a low voice. His eyes were cold and angry, and Battler went quiet. He wanted both. He wanted to keep believing in his family members. He wanted them to be innocent, but at the same time he wanted to deny the existence of the witch. Was there really no way to achieve both things? Was it really impossible? He didn't want to think it. He didn't want to admit the impossibility. Vigilius's grip on his shoulder loosened, and he gave him a bored, almost pitying expression. I told you already, Battler-san. I'm here to win, and I will do anything in order to win. That includes blaming every single person in your family if I have to. See, here's your problem, Vigilius, is you're not blaming Battler for this. And I'm telling you, he is an accomplice to the crime. This isn't just a game, Battler-san. My life as well as your life are on the line. I know that. It's just, I can't do it. I don't want to suspect anyone. Why would anyone in my family do something so messed up? I don't know, Battler, why would you do something so messed up? Do you really have time to think of the reason when you could barely think of a possible candidate? Perhaps if we find a culprit, we can question them for their reasons, but we need to find who can actually do it first. Vigilius leaned closer, a hint of a smile on his face. Hey, Battler-san, can you really defeat the witch? Can you do it? Can you throw away everything in order to win? I'm sure you can. The only thing you need to do is just join me. You're a good person, Battler-san, but it's also your biggest weakness. That's why you have to throw it away. Come, I'll help you. Together we can overcome it and win. There's a lot of focus on Battler's just a good guy. Battler's not a good guy. Okay, especially if he's conspired in these murders. Battler shook his head in frustration, holding on to it as he cowered in his seat, while Vigilius simply touched his back, almost in compassion. Hi, T-Rex, how you doing today? Dino support gang! How is my fellow Rex? Hi, Jen, how you doing? Morning. Yes, morning. 3 o'clock in the morning almost. Opposed to Vigilius's calming, gentle voice, Beatrice started laughing, making Battler raise his head again, meeting the witch's gaze. Yeah, don't jump on my tail. Have you finally realized it, Battler? The only way to have peace in your heart is to acknowledge me. Is denying me so important that you're willing to blame someone from your own family? I've told you already, this is a nightmare, and if you acknowledge me, all of your dreams can come true. That includes the dream where none of your family members have to stain their hands. Does it still sound so bad, Battler? Quiet, please be quiet, both of you! I know it's hard, Battler-san, but I'm here for you, and I will help you. I can free you from this pain forever, Battler. Beatrice also approached the man, a smile all over her face. But unlike the hopeless feeling it always gave him, this time it was almost welcoming, which only made Battler flinch even more, looking away. After all, no matter where he looked right now, he had to face one of the two painful choices he had been presented with. Someone, help him. Someone. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to make any painful choices anymore. Perhaps he should just let Vigilius play instead of him. Like this, he won't have to bear the burden of pointing out the murderer. Yay! Thank you for the pats on my tail. No chompy. Yum yum yum. But it was just as he said. That was no different from acknowledging the witch. There was really no escape from this nightmare. It was a never-ending nightmare, a maze with no escape, a story with no happy ending. What's up? Wow, that takes me back and shows my age. Holy shit. You don't get to pat the tail. Yeah, leave my tail alone. Why are you being mean, Jin? Why are you being mean? The survivors of Rokkenjima were all present in the parlor of the main house. The atmosphere was tense and heavy, and for a long time, nobody said a word. Maria was sitting by the table, drawing a magic circle on her papers before showing it to Battler. Ooh, here is the seal on Grandfather's door. Battler took her notebook tiredly, looking at it before frowning a little. For some reason, this seal looked familiar, as if he'd seen it before. You can eat it, but only gently, okay? Don't bite it hard, okay? What does this one even mean? It repels witches like Beatrice. Usually Beatrice wouldn't be able to go through such a door, but she might have gotten strong enough that even seals like this won't repel her anymore. Ooh, Battler should be more careful now too. Me? What about me? No. No, you take that back. You take that back. I am a fearsome tiny T-Rex, and I will stomp on your feet and bite your ankles. I'll stomp on you anytime. Hey yo. Maria's good luck charm might not help you anymore. Nani? Battler reached his pocket, taking out the charm he received from Maria yesterday, examining it more thoroughly. It had an identical drawing to what Maria just drew on it. So would that mean it was also identical to the one on Kinzo's door? However, at this point... What? Angle, how are you doing? Hello, hello. Thank you for the raid. Did you enjoy Holokyo? Yeah, hello, hello. Let's see if we can remember how to do this. Look at me, I can do a thing. How did you enjoy Holokyo? I've been meaning to play it, but I keep getting distracted by Umineko. Yes, if you've not played Umineko and you plan on playing it, there's going to be spoilers in the story, whether I mention something. I'm trying my damned hardest not to mention spoilers, but if I slip up, I slip up, you know? Nice! Crispy fans! Does that mean, up until now, when he stayed by himself to protect the door from the culprit, the only thing that kept him safe was that charm? Yes, be careful, be careful. Does that also mean from now on, he's no longer safe? Just thinking about those things made him feel more ashamed. After all, there was no way that all these were connected. Or was it truly a witch who did all that? Thinking something like this contradicted everything he worked for, until now. But that disproving the witch would only force him to admit that one of his family members or the servants were the murderers? In fact, it's not impossible that the murderer is sitting with them in this room at this moment, waiting for the right moment to strike, or for them to get separated. See, now I have a theory, okay? I think it's Battler, and I think it's Rosa, and I think it's Shannon, okay? I think the three of them are working together. It makes the most sense. I used my amazing one brain cell to deduce all of this. My amazing brain cell. Battler gritted his teeth. His grip on the charm was tightening. The more time passed, the less rational his thoughts became. He wanted to trust what his eyes were seeing, but the truth that was in front of him was too cruel to handle, too confusing to face. It was like all that was left in front of him now was his primal, pathetic need to survive. Pathetic. What are you holding there, Battler? Yesterday, when I gave Maria my jacket, she gave me this charm in return, and told me it would protect me from witches. It feels so stupid, but I can't help but feel like it protected me last night, and when I guarded that door back then. Ugh, it's not stupid. Beatrice probably couldn't get close to you up until now. This charm has protected you. I can't help but feel bad. I wonder if I gave my charm to someone else, would they be safe? I know it's stupid. I know I just can't help it. Yep, Battler cannot help being stupid. It is confirmed. It almost sounds like you assumed that you were supposed to be sacrificed at this point when I say it like this. You can't blame me, right? Jessica and George were both sleeping with me in the same room, but the two of them died and I stayed alive. What if it really was because of the charm? Jessica-chan and George both died with their fathers. Huh. Eva's voice suddenly sounded a little more offensive than Battler assumed it would be, making him look at her in confusion. That's right, all the men in the family are dead. Also, my husband died with George, Kraus-Nissan, with Jessica, but you didn't die with Rudolph. Eva-san, is it really the time to try and make such assumptions? No, and I'm glad someone else is. Nazi, shut up and let her do it, okay? Father is dead too. In other words, you're the only man who remained alive within our family, and within those who wear the one-winged angel on their clothes. Eva stood up and pointed her fan at Battler, wearing a vicious smile. Battler-kun, I believe you're either the culprit or an accomplice. Am I being proved right now? What the fuck? Let's see if we can guess who'll be next, then. If they're taking out all the men in the family, I mean... How many killings do we have left? I think, is it 4? 4. So what, we have 3 guys who's not Battler, and what, 1 for collateral damage? There you go, job's a good one. Maybe Vigilius dies. I don't know. But we can probably theorize that Nanjo, Genji, and Goda are going next. Yes, epic violin and piano goes brrrr. That's Umineko for you. As soon as the words came out of Eva's mouth, Battler stood up as well. Me? You're blaming me? Eva-san, blaming Battler for something like this is too cruel. Both his father and Kirie-san are dead. Yes, but Battler's been away from the family for 6 years. Why does he care? He hated his dad. Quiet, Natsuhi, I didn't ask for your opinion. Unless you have some wiser thoughts to share with all of us regarding such a possible culprit. Eva and Natsuhi glared at each other before Natsuhi shifted her gaze to Vigilius, who immediately narrowed his eyes. Vigilius-san. Vigilius-kun, are you out of your mind? This guy's a complete stranger to the family who arrived here by accident. But what if he isn't? What if he has a reason to do all this? What if he arrived here on purpose? Isn't it weird that as soon as he joined the family meeting, suddenly people started dying? Well, I'm sorry for not being dead. What do you mean by saying he's not a complete stranger? Do you have any basis for your delusional claims? Natsuhi swallowed heavily. It's not that she didn't have any evidence at all. However, that would result in her exposing her worst secrets that she had sworn to never tell anyone. But if she didn't, he might get away with all of his acts. What should she do? How can she solve it? I could ask the same question. Why are you suspecting Battler-kun as the culprit? Isn't it obvious? Almost all of the Ushiromiya family members are dead now. Aside from the two of us, Battler-kun, Rosa, and Maria-chan. Once I'm killed, Battler-kun is the next in line. No. Maybe he thinks that since all the men are dead, he's already next in line right now. You really think I'd kill my own family for money? That would explain why you come back now, right? Eva-san! If Battler wanted to get rid of the Ushiromiya family, wouldn't it make more sense for him to kill you along with George instead of your husband? Vigilius spoke suddenly, making Battler and both women turn to him. He's got a point. Hideyoshi only married into the family. Eva's the one who would claim anything by birthright. Unlike their yelling, his tone was still low and composed, and he wasn't even bothering to stand up from the couch he was sitting on. Are you defending Battler-kun, Vigilius? I'm not defending anyone. I can't wrap my head around one person just yet. So, I simply state what's coming into my mind, considering you're trying to explain the motive. You do realize you're not out of the suspicion list, right? Please, Eva-san, do you really think that a person with no knowledge about this mansion's layoff can pull off something like this? Since yesterday evening, I've only seen the mansion's first floor until you gave me that tour a little while ago. I don't know any of the servants or anyone here that could even try assisting me with pulling off something as crazy as this. You could easily bribe them or promise them with something. That's not an excuse. Are we being blamed as accomplices just like this? After Natsuhi spoke, Vigilius started laughing, making the scene even more uncomfortable. Bribe them? With what? I bet these guys are getting paid better than I will, at least for the next decade or so. Besides, those are big words from someone who pointed a gun at me just a little while ago. Huh? Natsuhi pointed a gun at you? She did, and it was hilarious. I was questioning him, trying to see if he understood that he is the culprit. I didn't point a gun at him, I just held it. In his direction. When was it? How did you even find the time to threaten people like that? Perhaps you're an accomplice too, Natsuhi. Why would I kill my own husband and child? How would I know? Maybe you hold some grudges against the Ushiromiya family. Your logic is getting out of hand there, Oba-san. With such logic, even I can say that Rosa Oba-san is an accomplice because she's the only one who didn't lose her closest family member. Maria and I were sleeping in the same room and I have not left each other's side since last night. I don't know any of the servants here. Sounds like a Fade Stay Night line, right? Ooh, you should stop fighting. It's the witch who did it. Maria-san is sure that if Vigilius wasn't here, she could show herself even earlier. Oh, so you want me to leave? Or perhaps is it some kind of plan to separate us one by one to kill us? Sorry, but I don't plan on dying. Then admit it already. Admit your side first then, Natsuhi-san. Should I really be the one to bring it up? What are you hiding, Natsuhi? Natsuhi glared at Vigilius with hatred gritting her teeth. If she won't say it herself, this man will say it in the worst way possible. I got a letter. You got a what? A letter. It only said, "Good night, Mother." I thought maybe it was from Jessica. Bring it right away and let us examine it. Why did you hide something like this? Go sleep, Sleeps. It must be late. I'll promise I'll come hug you afterwards, okay? Big long snuggly snuggly wiggly wigglies. Was it really just that, Natsuhi-san? Why would you think I'm in charge of that letter and try to question me about it then? Unless you're just going to say you have some secret, illegitimate children and think I'm one of them. I can't think of any other reason. Angor, you might want to close your eyes and ears to this. You, how dare you? How dare you blame me for something as shameful as that? I didn't blame you, I just suggested some crazy ideas and you decided to take it personally. I threw the letter away. It came with a creepy doll, so I thought Jessica was just trying to prank me because of the witch letter. I planned on scolding her today, but then she died. That would make no sense. Mario only read that letter during dinner, and right afterwards Jessica-chan was always with the children in the guest room, since she didn't have time to put anything like this into your room after dinner. Oh, and then, oh, if you've got your eyes and ears closed, you're not going to hear this one. If you see a purple-haired lady and a white-haired man together, look away. Is spoiler territory. I can't spell. This is exactly why I think it's possible for one of the servants that might have helped her with that prank. It doesn't change the fact that Natsuhi didn't tell anyone about it until Vigilius brought it up. Evanes-san, you're not in a different position. You're the first in line because Kraus-Nisan is dead. You have the same motive you can claim Battler to have. Rosa, are you blaming me? Me who lost her husband and son? I'm just saying it would make for a perfect alibi. Nobody would suspect you because, ooh, your husband and your son are dead. Look, I've watched Death Note's live-action movies. I know some people in this world are twisted people. How would you feel if Mario-chan died and someone accused you of a murder? This is exactly why I can't trust any of you anymore. Natsuhi-san hid important details despite the situation, and both of you and Battler have reasonable motives to be the culprits. Everyone has reason to be the culprits. They all need money. They all are questionable people with questionable motives. Stop it. Stop suspecting each other. Didn't Ryu-san say it before that we'll always have subjective truths and blame each other like this? Rosa stood up, narrowing her eye. Bleh, what was with the stutter? Jeez, come on, Kohaku, you can do this. Rosa stood up, narrowing her eyes as she looked at the people in the room. I've decided. I'm taking Mario away from here. We'll lock ourselves safely in the guest house until tomorrow. Ooh, Mama. I'm not negotiating about it. Watching this fight helped me make up my mind about it. I have a gun loaded and I'm ready to protect myself and Maria, even if I have to acknowledge that one of you is the culprit. Oh shit, what murders are still left to go? It's 3, isn't it? Ah, I need the epitaph in front of me. I need the epitaph in front of me. So only the first and second Twilight. No, we had the third. Did we have the third? Or did we have the fourth as well? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. First twilight is 6. Second twilight is 2. Alright, so we're at the third twilight. Praise my noble name. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's what, 4 more to go? 3, 4? Don't split up, you'll die! Rosa Obasan, going away will just make you an easier target for the culprit. Not unless she is the culprit. Dun dun dun. I refuse to stay here with the wolves. Evanes-san is right. I must protect Maria. Rosa took her gun from the table in one hand and Maria's hand in the other. Ugh. Maria didn't even have time to protest or voice her opinion about her mother's decision before the two exited the room in a storm. How did she exit the room? She had a child in one hand, a gun in the other. How did she open the door? Nah, she walked into it. Ugh. Battler passed his fingers through his hair in frustration. If both Rosa and Maria go like this all by themselves, they'll really be an easy target. I'm going real quick to return this charm to Maria. Battler-san, going after them will expose you to danger as well. Oh shit, how many people are left in the room? Oh my god, not gonna kill them all in one fell swoop, is she? The hell with that, the culprit just wants to shoot me, then they can shoot me. I had no guns or weapons on me, right? He showed off his empty hands and the pockets which had nothing in them, demonstratively before exiting the room. Rosa and Maria were already making their way to the guest house. Neither of them were holding an umbrella, letting the heavy rain pour on their heads. If there would come a case where she has to react fast, she knew the umbrella would only hinder her reaction. Rosa Obasan, please wait! As soon as Battler yelled, Rosa immediately pointed her gun at him, making him raise his arms above his head. I have no weapon, I'm just here to return Maria's charm to her. Ooh, but that was a gift. Then return it to me tomorrow after the police arrive. Right now, I want it to protect you again, at least if it can. Battler took a few steps forward, looking to Rosa for approval to get closer. Rosa didn't lower the gun, but gestured with her hand to signal that he could get closer. He carefully walked towards Maria, despite the gun still pointed at him, and placed the charm in her hands. Thank you for protecting me with it up until now. I'll do my best by myself, too. After he said it, he straightened up, holding his hands above his head again, and turned away, walking back to the mansion. Yes, marshmallow hands. See, I played with the PS3. Like I was running the mod that turned it all into the PS3 graphics, although I was playing it through Steam. So I had all of the nice sprites. So seeing all these is definitely an experience. Rosa tried to give Maria a small push so she'd start walking, but Maria only looked down at the charm in her hands. Mama, you shouldn't suspect anyone like this. The rain was pouring down on the two girls who stood in the garden, but Maria's eyes were still fixated on the charm that Battler had returned to her, a gloomy expression all over her face. She didn't want to have it back, despite how he'd insisted on it. Her fingers closed under the charm, feeling tears choking her throat. Is that the only thing that's choking her throat? I mean, we've both seen the original chapter 3, right? Maria had the chance to gift someone something like this up till now, yet alone have someone accept it and treasure it. That's why she was so unhappy when she could gift someone such a thing, and that they put their trust in their magic. After all, Maria knew. Even if Beatrice chooses her as a sacrifice, it'll be okay, because they'll meet in the Golden Land. Again, you said afterlife wrong. But someone like Battler, who's still afraid, should be the one with the charm, so he can feel safer. I don't want to suspect anyone, but for your sake, Maria, I have no choice. Are you afraid? Mario asked the question as she looked up at her mother, making Rosa choke a little bit. Choke a little bit on her breath. Jeez, I swear English is my first language, I swear. That's right, even Mama is afraid sometimes, you know. Right now, I'm very afraid. I'm afraid because I don't want anything bad to happen to you. That's why I don't mind looking like the bad guy, or suspecting other family members, as long as it means I'll be capable of protecting you. Ooh. Rosa kneeled in front of Maria, giving her an encouraging smile. Don't worry, once it's all over and the culprit is caught, I'll apologize to everyone for doubting them, so you shouldn't be sad now. Mama, you're the one who shouldn't be sad. Soon, you won't need to suspect anyone anymore. But since you're still afraid, Mario will be the one to protect you. Here. Mario put the charm in Rosa's hand. Butler asked me to keep it safe until I return it to him tomorrow, but right now, Mama needs it more than me. So you should be the one to keep it for him until tomorrow, okay? Rosa looked down at the charm. Even with everything that was happening, Mario was still able to smile brightly like this. In that moment, all those childish obsessions, all of this behaviour Rosa resented so much wasn't so bad anymore. After all, a normal child her age shouldn't go through something like this. So perhaps, if it was all so that on this gloomy day she wouldn't be afraid, and she'd be protected from the cruelty of this world, maybe it wasn't so terrible. Maybe this kind of way to escape reality wasn't so bad after all. Rosa could feel something warm going down her cheeks, mixing with the rain. Mama? I'm okay. Mama just realised she might have been very stupid for a very long time. You're realising this now? Wow, Rosa. Okay. Is your world bright right now, Maria? No, they're stood in the rose garden in the middle of a fucking typhoon. Her world is looking pretty fucking wet and dark. Ooh, Maria's world is always bright, as long as Mama was with me. I see, I'm happy. My world is also bright when you're here. I want whatever drugs they've had. Rosa tried wiping away her own tears, smiling at Maria. That's right, even if it was childish and unfitting for a child of her age, it made Maria seem even the cruelest things with a bright light. How could she even think of trying to turn that light off? How could she be so stupid? I'm sorry, Maria. Mama is going to do better from now on, okay? I will take you to that restaurant you like once we get back home. Ooh, will I be able to eat the ice cream with the chocolate? That's right, you'll be able to eat anything you want. Ooh, Maria can't wait. Let's share some ice cream together, Mama. Yes, let's. We'll eat plenty of ice cream. We'll have fun together, just the two of us. It's a promise. Oh no, red flags! Weep whoop, weep whoop, weep whoop. Oh no. Rosa reached her hand forward a little, offering her pinky with a tiny smile, and Maria immediately entwined her pinky with Rosa's, smiling brightly as she shook their hands together a little bit. Ooh, it's a promise, so don't forget it, okay? Mama will keep this promise. Still, we shouldn't keep standing here in the rain. Let's head over to the guest house and dry our clothes. I don't want you to catch a cold. Rosa smiled at Maria before giving her a short hug, standing up and taking her hand. They both had each other. Right now, even Rosa could see that their world as bright as Maria saw it. It was hard to remember how dark it had looked just mere moments before. As they were approaching the guest house, Rosa suddenly spotted a shadow approaching them, immediately making her raise her gun with a frown. Who's there? Show yourself right now or I'll shoot. As the figure slowly approached, Maria's eyes brightened. Oh, Pietro, you came to see us. Maria let go of Rosa's hand, rushing to hug the figure with a smile. Oh. However, the witch wasn't smiling and only rested a hand on her shoulder. Maria, do you remember I promised you that one day I would take you to the Golden Land? Oh no. Ooh, Maria remembers. Maria has always been waiting. It seems that the time has come. Oh shit! Hey, little 9-year-old child, I'm going to kill you now. Okay. What the hell? Ooh. Beatrice let go of Maria, giving her a bitter smile. A lot of things have gone differently than I expected. My board was interrupted by an unexpected guest. While I tried to keep what I had originally planned, it looks like I'm at my limit. I'll need you to help me now. Oh, but Mama promised to take Mario out to eat in her favorite restaurant. Good night, Ango. Have fun. Sleep well. Don't let the bed dinosaurs bite. What is the meaning of this? Yes, we'll have fun killing a 9-year-old. Twitch, don't ban me. It's all in context, I promise. Rosa was stunned, looking at the witch with confusion. Was it really the witch all along? Beatrice's rather gloomy expression changed into a smile as she looked at Rosa. Rejoice, Rosa, you and Mario is being chosen as my sacrifices. But worry not, both of you will be reunited together in the Golden Land. Mario is my precious student, so I will not defile your bodies like I did the others. This will be my parting gift to you. Will Mama be the same kind Mama she is now in the Golden Land too? Of course she'll be. The Black Witch will not be allowed in my Golden Land after all. It does sense, I promise, Jeff. Both girls smiled sadly at each other, but Rosa only wore a furious expression, pointing the gun at Beatrice. I will not let you take Mario away. Kill Rosa first, then. Guns are useless against me, Rosa. I suggest you don't shoot. It'll only backfire at you. Oh! Okay. Okay. I won't reveal, but that makes a lot of sense. Let Maria go! Yabby. Yabby, 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 yabby. As Rosa shot the gun, she suddenly felt a sharp burning pain in her own stomach. Huh. Was she the one shot? But how? Yeah, what's that? Rosa held on to her wounded area, which started dripping on the ground, falling onto her knees, and then the gun fell down next to her. Ooh, Beto, don't make Mama suffer, please, Beto. I know. I'll finish it right away. Fuck. Yeah, give Maria back. Yeah. The second shot went to her shoulder. It looked like it was aimed at her heart, but Rosa managed to move away, making the shot miss a vital place by mere chance. Rosa gritted her teeth, trying to drag herself towards the two. If you keep hurting Mama like this, Maria can't forgive you. Maria left Beatrice aside, running to her mother before another gunshot pierced the air. Yeah. Rosa's leg was shot as well, making her unable to move, the puddles of rain around the two girls filling with blood. Jesus Christ, Beatrice, you are a terrible fucking shot. It looks like the charm your mother holds is stopping me from killing her immediately. Maria, your charm is only slowing down her death. Mama! Oh no. Maria reached towards Rosa's pocket, taking the charm out and throwing it aside. As soon as she did, a weapon faster than a gun made its way to the girls, piercing Rosa in the chest. It was one of the 7 stakes of Purgatory. Now, without a charm to protect Rosa from it, it could finally pierce through her flesh. Rosa's sacrifice was for the 5th Twilight. Your Twilight is in the stomach, but I believe it will not kill you immediately. I do not want you to suffer. Allow me to make it faster. Jesus Christ. Before Mario could say anything, the gun shot its last 3 rounds into Mario. Wow! Imagine having a whole gun shot, like a whole magazine shot into your mother right in front of your eyes. Like, that's grim. 1 in the head, 2 in the chest, making her fall down like a lifeless doll. Then another one of the stakes appeared, piercing through her stomach. This is my punishment as well for creating bonds with humans. I am now paying the price for the momentary pain I need to feel. For a witch like me to feel such sadness for killing a human will truly become soft. Even if it's from my very own student. Yeah, I thank you, Maria. For a mere moment I could feel the sadness of eternal loss. Something an endless witch like me forgot how to feel. Ah, my world is truly bright now. I can't wait to have a tea party with you in the Golden Land. Hee 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 hee. Ah ha ha. Oh no. At least we didn't get to see her kill Maria. I'm eternally thankful for that. I think that is where I might leave it for today, because we've been going for 2.5 hours. It is 3 a.m. 3:30. Yikes. Let's see. Who can we rid? Who can we rid? Who can we rid? Well, from one visual novel to another, I think is only cool, right? Yeah. Let's have a looky-see. The Nova Swarm is playing Monster Prom 2. And that's quite a cool game. I like the first one. I've not played the second. But I do hope you enjoy. That's going to be very, very fun. So in the meantime, I shall be on Twitter and in Discord. And I don't usually do weekend streams, but I think I am going to do an impromptu knitting tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit later than my normal 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. It'd probably be closer to either 9 or half 9, because I do have stuff planned for 8 o'clock tomorrow night. But yeah. When I go live, obviously you will see the notification, and I will be posting it where I am existing. So yes, until tomorrow, I shall see you all later. Goodbye!